job completion certificates and all of that. So there's a whole lot going on in that space. Of course, there's the gas flare commercialization program. Before I speak about the gas flare commercialization program, there's the Maritime University, which was operationalized has been operationalized since 2018. When we came on board as an administration, and of course, don't forget that I mentioned that the PANDEF met with the president, and they came up with a 16-point agenda. One of the items on that 16-point agenda was for the government to operationalize the Maritime University. Okay. As I speak to you, that Maritime University is operational. It is, full academic activities has since commenced, and this took place or happened in 2018. And that really is something that a lot of the everybody's very excited about, and a lot of activities, is going on in that space. Okay. Now, it's also important, and I need to make this point, because a lot of what has happened is as a result of this initiative known as the New Vision for the Niger Delta. I mentioned earlier that the Vice President embarked on the region where he met with key stakeholders, and I said that the New Vision at that point was birthed. Now, what is this New Vision? The New Vision essentially speaks of a progressive partnership between the federal government, the state government, the private sector, and the local communities. So it speaks of a partnership. It speaks of a collaborative partnership, and as a result of this partnership, a number of MDAs have been able to partner with the private sector in coming up with in supporting them in coming up with projects and all of that. And I'll give you a few examples. So, for instance, I mentioned to you earlier that the NCMB, which is the Nigerian Content Monitoring and Development Board, the NCMB has a mandate to support, development in the oil and gas sector. But there was a specific mandate that, look, they must support this modular refinery initiative. And so today, I can tell you confidently that some of the modular refineries that have, come on stream are direct beneficiaries of, funding from the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. In fact, part of what I understand that was done is that in some cases they had some kind of a partnership whereby the MCMD had taken up some kind of equities. So you have, for instance, the Walter Smith. Walter Smith was commissioned as a 5,000 barrels per day modular refinery. It was commissioned, I think, sometime in January. That's a refinery situated in Imo State. Imo State. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board supported them, and that's why today they're able to get the needed funding, and the refinery today is complete. Okay,
Mr. Iyamu, before you go further, yeah. I understand that it's quite a very large sector, yeah. But let's just narrow down to a major agency that was established some years ago to intervene in the matter of the Niger Delta, which is the NDDC. What's the situation presently with that organization?
Well, as you know, right now we have it's a ministry under the Niger Delta Development Commission. The Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, I beg your pardon. And well, there's been a whole lot that has gone on in the ministry, but we're beginning to see some kind of light. We're beginning to see some kind of reorganization going on with the NDDC. Only recently they commissioned their building, and we have now in place a sole administrator. So we're beginning to see some kind of positives coming out of it. I know that at some time they had encountered some kind of turbulence, and that's the way I like to describe it. But I see that they're getting out of that, and things are beginning to look good, in my view.
Okay, in terms of security now, there have been rumors that the amnesty program for the region was to be scrapped. Is the federal government contemplating taking this action, or what is the future when it comes to militants in the area?
Well, so far the region has been, relatively peaceful, and we must give kudos to this administration for that. In time past, we used to hear of all kinds of things going on, security challenges in the region. But today there's relative peace in the region. That is not to say there are not cases of, breaches in security and all of that. But I can say largely, there's relative peace in the region. In relation to the amnesty program, I'm not aware that the government is going to scrap that program anytime soon. It's a program that is ongoing. There are a lot of people who are benefiting from that program. There are a lot of empowerment initiatives going on there. People are being empowered. Militants and other stakeholders are benefiting from that program. Even a lot of scholarships that have been given to students, that is ongoing. The amnesty program is ensuring that payments for the necessary fees and all that are paid as and when due. So it's one of those programs that I think we're pretty comfortable with for now, and I do not see any I do not see them scrapping the program anytime soon. Even though I must say that yes, part of the program at its conception stage, when the program was being conceptualized, there was included in the program an exit strategy. So just like with everything, anything that has a beginning, I believe, will have an end. I guess that sometime along the line, they might need to activate that exit strategy. But as of today, the program is ongoing. The region is relatively peaceful, and I think people are quite happy with it.
Okay, about the cleanup, let's take you back a bit. I know you've talked a lot about the cleanup of Ogoni land, but there are other environmental challenges in the region, like land encroachment. We also have the problems of oil pollution for rivers, where we know that fishing is one of the mainstay of residents in the area. So are there other interventions in these areas?
Yes. So let me just start.
That you can tell us about.
Yes. So of course, there's the what you call talking about the Ogoni cleanup. Ogoni cleanup is like a pilot. Okay. So the government is starting with that, with the cleanup of the Ogoni community. It's going to extend to other regions as we go on. But let me also quickly say, and I believe maybe there'll be a point where we will talk about that in detail. Under the current PIB, and it's important that I mention that, provision has been made for remediation activities. So if you're going to be granted a license today, there must be in place some environmental impact assessment test that needs to be carried out, and even an environmental fund, what is it called? An environmental fund that needs to be put in place. So, and all of that is to deal with issues of oil spills and all of that. There's also in the PIB what is known as the decommissioning element, or which invariably speaks about certain funds, and a fund to that effect, a decommissioning fund, I meant to say, which is to say, by the time a company finishes its oil exploration activities, that fund is meant to take care of any kind of oil spills that might have occurred in the course of carrying out that activity, oil exploration activity. And even in cases where, for any reason, the company doesn't carry the cleanup after it's completed its activities, the fund, the agency or the regulatory agency has been mandated under the PIB to get a third party to go ahead and carry out that remediation process. So so it's a very important, and we are quite a component of this element of this new PIB bill, and we're hopeful, going by even just going by all the information we're getting that the key parties, the relevant parties, the National Assembly, the lower and upper house are very excited. A lot of work is ongoing there. And we're very hopeful that, this PIB will be passed in no distant time. And like I said, there's a whole lot that has been captured in that PIB that will deal with a lot of these issues that, have, if you like, for want of a better word, bedeviled the region for quite some time.
But recently there were confrontations in the public hearing at the National Assembly, and that got many Nigerians worried that this PIB bill, this might just be the beginning of the end. What's your reaction to this? Is there hope?
There is hope. There is hope. Certainly, there is hope. And don't forget that the confrontation you're talking about had to do with the stakeholders, the people who came to, or the attendees who came there to, and I don't know, for whatever reasons, people have, must have had their differences and what have you, and found a way of ventilating it in a way that might not be exactly proper. But in relation to the passage, the key stakeholders, as you well know, is the National Assembly, the lower and the upper house, and of course the executive, who would assent to the bill and thereby making it a law once it is passed by the National Assembly. And we, on the side of the executive, we're all anxiously expecting the bill for the National Assembly to complete their work and send the bill to the executive for its assent. And so I'm pretty optimistic that going by just gauging comments from even the Speaker, comments from the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, everything is pointing to the fact that we're all just looking forward to the passage of the PIB bill.
All right, if you're just joining us, the program is Have Your Say, coming to you live on the network service of Radio Nigeria. We've been speaking with the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Niger Delta Affairs, Mr. Edobor Iyamu, on the new vision of the present administration for the region. Don't forget, you can join us as we're streaming live on www.facebook.com/Radio Nigeria Network, or simply search the website. We'll be going for a short break. You can also follow the conversation that will be after the break on YouTube via Radio Nigeria Have Your Say. The lines to call are 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. Don't forget, if you're unable to call on the program, you can just send SMS and WhatsApp only to 0705 864 2473. Please do remember to turn down the volume of your radio set to avoid a holdback and to allow our guests to respond to your contributions. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
As the roar of a lion reverberates across the animal kingdom, so does the news in the network service of Radio Nigeria reach all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria and beyond. Radio Nigeria, the strength of a lion in every newscast.
Let's have some peace. Nigerians are peace-loving and hard-working people.
And countries only develop and grow when there is peace and stability.
There are different kinds of problems in every society, and so in every country.
If there are problems here, Nigeria is not an exception.
There is no society, no country where violence and public disorder has solved that problem.
No matter the problem, no matter the issue.
Let us sit down like brothers and sisters. Use dialogue to resolve the problems.
Remember, you have to give account of every action you take, if not here on earth, then before your creator.
Please let us work together for a peaceful Nigeria.
Let us work together. Nigeria will be great.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Go to social and change begin from within. Look at you, oh get roller. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
This message was brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Yes, if you're just joining us, you're on to the network service of Radio Nigeria, and the program is Have Your Say. Our guest is the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Niger Delta Affairs, Mr. Edobor Iyamu. He's speaking on the new vision of the present administration for the Niger Delta region. You can now join the conversation like we announced earlier. The lines are open now. The lines to call, like we said, 0807 6226 771 and 0705 149 3324. You can also send WhatsApp and SMS only to the number 0705 864 2473. Once again, send SMS to the number 0705 864 2473. Yes, we'll have a first caller. Good morning. Hello? 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 Can you hear us?
Okay, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, that is Hassan. And that is Barrister Hassan from India local government, Katsina State.
Barrister Hassan, which state is that? Katsina.
Okay, so I thank for Government Muhammad Buhari for his performance to Nigerian people.
Yes, go ahead, please.
And I thank for all legislatives and all security services and all new appointments.
Yes, go ahead. Hello? Hello? Your line seems to be breaking. Hello? Hello? Okay.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, tell us your name and where you're calling from, and go ahead, please.
My name is Nasir Usman from
Nasir Osman from Zamfara. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I wanted to greet our guest for today, and I have one question for the guest. My question is that, please, the issue of Niger Delta militant, it's like, as I have been hearing some news years back and months back and weeks back, that the way they are vandalizing some things, so our petroleum products is going low. So how are they coping with this Niger Delta militant? Please, that's my question. My name is Nasir Usman. I'm from Zamfara State. Thank you, Radio Nigeria.
All right, thank you, Nasir Usman. Hello? Hello? Hello, good
Hello,
morning.
good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name, location, and go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello? We can hear you. Go ahead, sir. Hello? Hello, are you there? Hello? Okay. Hello? Let's see if we have other callers, because we have so many calls coming in at the same time. Hello? Hello? Hello, tell us who you are, and go ahead, please. Okay. Let me come back to you now, Mr. Iyamu, while we await other callers. But let me just tell you that once in a while we'll be interrupting so that we can take more calls.
That's okay.
Okay, we have one already. Let's take... Hello?
Hello?
Yes, your name and
Hello?
location, please.
Hello?
Hello? Hello, we can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Your name, location, and go ahead. We can hear you. Hello? Hello? Hello, good morning. Hello? Hello? Okay, we seem to be having troubles with some of our calls. Yes, Mr. Iyamu.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Good
Hello?
morning.
Yes, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. We can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Mukhtar. I'm calling from Zamfara.
Mukhtar from Zamfara. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a question to the special advisor to the president on Niger Delta.
Okay.
Okay, my question is that we have seen the federal government is doing a lot on funding the Niger Delta as a whole to uplift their situation. But the problem is that, and the traditional leaders, as I know all the political leaders of the Niger Delta, they are squandering the fund from the federal government. But the Niger people, I don't know, maybe do they understand it? They do not understand the actual situation, but they are blaming the federal government. Okay, the example is like the Edobor problem. You see.
Hello, Mukhtar. Hello, Mukhtar. I think he has already made this point about the situation concerning the funds, the Edobor funds. Okay, yes, Mr. Iyamu, I think you already got to the gist of our contributors so far. You can start from maybe from the last or whichever one you want.
Okay, I didn't quite get the name of the second caller.
The one, Mukhtar.
Mukhtar, okay, Mukhtar.
Yes.
Okay, let me start with the first question from Nasiru, Mr. Nasiru from Zamfara State.
Yes.
And he's talking about the pipeline vandalization and all that. And what is the government doing about it? Okay, so this issue of pipeline vandalization, as we all know, is has been on for a while, and the government has come up with all kinds of initiatives and in trying to address this issue. But one of the things that I think we have done and we have recognized as a way of addressing it, or at least minimizing it, is by bringing developments to the region, by coming up with projects and programs, because at the end of the day, those who are involved in this pipeline vandalization, for most of it, are people who are without a job, who are looking for means of livelihood and all of that.
Yes.
So they go into that. And of course, they have other reasons, but those are some of the reasons. So and that's why we came up with this new vision. Now, I mentioned earlier to us that the new vision speaks of a forthright partnership or a progressive partnership. Federal, and it talks about a partnership between the federal government, state government, local government, and the local communities. So the idea behind this new vision is to get everyone on board, with each person having a role to play. Part of the conversation, my principal had with the stakeholders back then in 2016, when he embarked on the tour of the region, that look, we are ready to bring development to the region, but there's no way we can have development in the region if there's no peace. You know what I mean? So if there's no peace, we can't really have any development. And so it was part of the understanding we had that, look, they must ensure that there is peace and all that in the region so that developments can come into the region. And that's partly responsible for what today we now see as, a lot of the development that has taken place. And I did mention the modular refinery, the Ogoni cleanup.
If you may hold your thought, let's quickly take this call. We have another caller on the line.
Okay.
Hello.
Good morning, Presenter.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning. You are speaking with Nasiru from
All right, go ahead, Nasiru.
Mr. Janya, yes, you are highly welcome for our guest today. Iyamu, good morning in this program.
Yes. Good morning. Thank you very much.
Sir, you are speaking very well, actually. You know everything about the Niger Delta, speaking. And then Niger Delta, they have some problem. They are not feeling fine because I'm northern Nigeria, and the Niger Delta is south. Yeah. When they are doing something wrong, sometimes they are not have agriculture there. They are used to bring money and give you pocket money, pay you once again because to stay in peace. And then sometimes they have a problem with militant. Militant, they are doing something they are not even feeling at all. Because if they are not even have any money, they are trying to make a trouble. They are always in that Niger Delta. Because Nigeria is a one country. Every people know that. I need to address Mr. President. Those people that are doing problem or militant, they are doing that. Please try to take action with them. Because I don't want any place that in Nigeria they have the crisis and once again they are doing this and that. We are not needed. God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nasiru Hussein.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, yes. Hello, good morning. All right, do remember that the lines to call are 0807 622 6771. Once again, the first line 0807 622 6771. Second line 0705 149 3324. Once again, 0705 149 3324. If you can't get through to us by calling, just send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0705 864 2473. Once again, 0705 864 2473. Yes. Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Hello. Hello, we can hear you. Just go ahead, sir. Your name, location, and your contribution.
Hello.
Hello, yes, good morning.
Please, my name is Celestine calling from Pape here.
Okay, Celestine and Pape. Go ahead, please.
Yes, he has been talking about Ogoni cleanup. Please, I want to understand what he means by Ogoni cleanup.
Okay.
Please. Thank you.
His name is Celestine and Pape. Okay. We're going to clean up. He'll give more insight, our guest. Hello, yes.
Hello.
Hello, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead. Your name, location.
My name is Dr. Mukhtar Activity Shagari.
Okay. Where are you calling from? Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes,
Hello? Hello? Dr. Shagari? Hello? Okay. We lost his call there. Hello, yes? All right, Mr. Iyamu, let's go over to you now. Well, you were still talking about militants.
Yes, yes. So I was saying
and from
that,
there you can move on to other questions like the PIB bill.
Okay. I can't say. I know that Mr. Nasiru, I think another Mr. Nasiru called, and it was. I think he had something to do with a question around agriculture and all that. So okay, let me just go to Celestine's question. I think that's the one
yes, the last question.
Yes, the last question where he said he wanted to know what the Ogoni cleanup is all about. Okay, so in 2011, the government of Nigeria, talking about the Ogoni cleanup now, at the time, contracted the United Nations Environmental Program to conduct a research to find out the level of contamination, oil contamination in Ogoni land. And the report came out with the result that there was widespread contamination, which would require some remediation activities. And by 2015, the government, this administration, began to implement the provisions of the report. Some of the provisions include the setting up of an agency to oversee the cleanup exercise. So today we have the high prep, and there were several other provisions in the report that also had to be put in place, which is administration has already put in place. So as I speak, a total of about 57 sites have been awarded to private companies for the cleanup of the Ogoni community. And this is in two phases. I believe the first phase, going by the report we have, I think the first phase consists of 21 lots. So you could call them either lots or sites. Okay. But just in trying to understand them, just say, a partition plot.
Okay, you mentioned 57 earlier.
57, so yes, a total. Yes, I think 51, the first phase. I think the second one was about 36 or 37. I can okay. A total of, 57 lots have been awarded. And as I speak, it's ongoing, depending on, as the remediation goes on, and the program is completed, a certificate of due completion is issued. And I'm aware that several companies have already received their certificate of completion, signaling that the land, the area has been cleaned up and has been approved the necessary approval has been given that the requirements have been met in accordance with international standards.
All right.
So that's what the Ogoni cleanup is all about. The Ogoni cleanup, it's about the remediation activities, just to summarize, going on in Ogoni community, which is as a result of contamination from oil exploration activities. I hope that explains it.
Yes. You were still on militancy very quickly before we move to our social media platforms for contributions.
Okay, yes. I was saying
security in the area.
Yes, the security in the area. Okay, yeah. So fair enough. Thank you very much. So on the security issue, just as I said, part of our strategy as an administration is that, look, we must bring development to the region. If there's enough development to the region, there are not enough jobs, there are enough social infrastructure and what have you, there's enough businesses to go, and then the issue of security will be significantly reduced. And that is how we set about, implementing different programs in the Niger Delta region. I made reference to the modular refinery, as somebody had described it, the modular refinery revolution that is going on there. Several modular refineries have been established across the different states in the Niger Delta region. You have the Ogoni cleanup, which I just mentioned now, and then the Maritime University also, which is in Delta State, current Cocoa Delta State, and so many other programs and projects, that is ongoing in the Niger Delta region today. So that's our strategy mainly. But of course, as I said, security, by and large, and I'm speaking in relative terms today, is being managed. You still have security issues, but not like it used to be in the past. So it's an ongoing thing. It's a conversation we're having with the key stakeholders in the region to ensure that peace remains in that region, so that more development can come to the region, and that everyone will be happy. And indeed we'll have a prosperous Niger Delta.
Now, there's a question here that what are the plans or considerations or provisions for host communities in the PIB bill or under the present administration?
Okay, there are quite a number of, the host community, there are quite a number of provisions. For the first time, and I think I've mentioned a few earlier. So what is the aim of the host community bill? So there are quite a number of them. So I'll start with the first. It says is to foster a sustainable prosperity within the host community, to enhance peaceful and harmonious coexistence between licensees and host community, to create a framework to support development in the host community, provide direct social and economic benefit for petroleum operations to the host community. So there are quite a number. I mentioned some of them to you. So for instance, today we have what is known as the Host Community Fund. Okay. Now, the Host Community Fund is going to be 2.5%. That is what is stated in the PIB bill today. It's 2.5% of the OPEX of the company. That's the operational expenses of the company. So they're supposed to set aside 2.5% for host community issues. Okay. Now, that host community fund is to be managed by a trust. So a company also, that when I mean a company who has been given a license or a licensee, or who has been granted a license to conduct oil exploration activities. So that's what I mean when I say company. Okay. It's mandated by the provisions of the PIB to set aside 2.5% of the fund as operational expenses.
Okay, let's
hello.
Okay.
Hello, yes.
I want to begin by commending the Buhari APC government for her unprecedented efforts to develop the Niger Delta region, including an award of the contract for the cleaning of the land that has gone to so much amount of money. The creation of the Niger Delta Ministry and the Commission, among others, with people from that area managing their affairs. I therefore encourage the Niger Delta people, including the youth, to use the federal government efforts in actually developing the region
to be supportive of our programs and the policies. Since to whom much is given, the saying goes, much is equally expected. While the federal government should intensify efforts and improve on what they are doing to ensure that the youth are engaged meaningfully, through many social investment programs, especially in skill acquisition, empowerment, and others, to fend for themselves and families, and contribute to the growth of the economy that has just existed recession, together with reducing insecurity in the region. Since an idle mind is a devil's workshop that can engage in kidnapping, cultism, armed robbery, prostitution, and others, while a hungry man is an angry man that can actually vent his anger on people through these vices. The federal government is also enjoined to intensify efforts in the fight against corruption among the officials of the Niger Delta Ministry and Commission, so that funds meant for the development of this region do not end up into private pockets and maybe lead to the region being underdeveloped and our citizenry impoverished, including the youth, and may possibly trigger off another protest that may affect the national economy adversely. As I advise the federal government to include the youth.
All right, thank you. Hello? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name, location, and go ahead.
This is Daniel calling from Oyo.
Daniel from Oyo, Ibadan.
Oyo, Alasin.
Okay. Go ahead.
So the last caller said immediately all I want to say.
Okay.
But I want to ask something. And the cleanup exercise is good, and it should be good for the region. Number one, the youth also need to be engaged. Need to engage the youth, and the federal, in terms of there's no any challenges, insecurity, anything. It should start from the youth. They are thinking they have the oil, they have the money, but they are not having access to the money or having opportunity that what they have to have. They feel as if they are depriving them of their rights.
Hello. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, yes, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, your name, location, and go ahead, please.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear.
From the state capital of Zamfara State.
Oh, good, okay.
Hello?
But your name first. Your name, then go ahead.
My name is Isa Salihu from Zamfara State. Yes?
Okay, go ahead. Isa Salihu.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Please, I'm saying good morning. Please. I have a question, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So I hope I should get in the answer of my question. Please, I want to know the land of Ogoni. That Niger Delta region, I want to know the...
Hello? Sometimes the network does not seem to be on our side, unfortunately. I'm sure Salisu can hear us, so he can call back. Hello? Okay, let's quickly go to our social media platform. We have first from Joelson Davis from Lagos. He says, "Sir, kindly elaborate on commercialization of gas flaring within the context of the national gas expansion initiatives. What is the prospects for the Nigerian populace?" Joelson from Lagos. So I'm sure you got that question. The National Gas Expansion Initiative, that is commercialization of gas flaring. Then we also have Nasser Usman Sabungidagu. So, okay, he says he just wants to say hello to our guest. All right. So those are the questions we can take for now from our social media platform. Okay, let's see if we can take more calls. Hello?
Yeah, Chief Umad, I don't know whether I was properly heard last time. I want to repeat what I said.
Yes, you were, but you can just round off.
All right. Yeah, like I was saying, I want to begin by commending the Buhari and the APC government for her
No, you don't need to start again. Okay, just make it quick.
All right. To develop the Niger Delta region, especially in awarding contract for the cleansing of Ogoni land that is gulping very big amount of money. The creation of the Niger Delta Ministry and the commission, among others, which people from this area are managing their affairs.
Okay,
I therefore encourage the Niger Delta people, including the youth, to use the federal government efforts in developing the region to be supportive of our programs and policies. Since to whom much is given, the saying goes, much is expected.
Right.
While the federal government should intensify efforts and improve on what they are doing so far to ensure that the youth are engaged meaningfully.
You have 30 seconds. Hello? All right. Sorry about that. We don't have much time, but I'm sure Mr. Iyamu, you got something from what he was saying already. It seemed more like general advice and advisory. Hello, let's see if we can take one last or a few more calls. Hello.
Good morning. My name is Chief Fidel Onyeneke. Chief Fidel Onyeneke is calling from Owerri in Imo State. I want to say that for us to get this right in the Niger Delta, we must have a deliberate policy towards enhancing their status. Yes, federal government has tried a lot to do this, but there are certain things we must emphasize on. For instance, this issue of modular refineries, they have to be established, and local people from that environment, must be employed to work on this. Above all, Niger Delta Development Commission and the ministry must be more proactive, making sure that they provide agricultural input and everything that will make life meaningful for the people. Infrastructural development is very important, and we have to make sure that we carry everybody along by providing the necessary things, especially the basic things of life. Thank you and God bless you.
Chief Fidel. Hello, Chief Fidel. Hello, yeah. Chief Fidel. No, don't go yet. We are the executive producer, or we have some persons who need your phone number urgently. So you can send your phone number to 0705 864 2473. Hello, Chief Fidel. Did you get that?
07 what?
Yes, 0705 864 2473.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, slowly now, slowly. I'm sure you got the number. Let me give you once more, slowly. 07.
Okay, very, very, very slowly.
Yeah.
07.
05, good. 864.
Yes.
24.
864.
Yes. 2473.
73.
Yes, send your number to that number, introducing yourself. I think someone needs to get across to you urgently. All right, let's come back to you now, Mr. Iyamu. Or we'll take one more phone call. We'll take one more phone call, then we'll come back to Mr. Iyamu. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name, location, and go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Nasir Sulaiman. I'm calling you from Zamfara State.
Oh, good. Oh, go ahead, please. Zamfara seems to be on air today.
Yes, I welcome the guest on the box, Mr. Iyamu.
Yes, you
can. And you to the presenter. Yeah, my contribution on the topic of today, a lot has been said, but I just want the case to lay more emphasis on that organic cleanup. We don't want it to be politicized. You understand me? But the people of that area, sincerely speaking, they are suffering. When Mr. President, in his first tenure, awarded a contract that area should be cleaned up, not only the people of Ogoni, the entire nation were happy. But we are not hearing anything pertaining the progress of that contract. You understand that? So I don't want him to, lay more emphasis to the Nigeria. Not only the people of South. We from Cornwall, you understand me, are happy to hear that South is, progressive.
Yeah, we need to round up.
It's complete. Hello, are you with me?
Yes, we can hear you, but round up, please.
Question.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
My second question to the guest. Of recent, Mr. President has awarded a contract in the, river for repairing of NNPCD. So with billions of dollars. Don't you think that instead of that, repairing of the NNPC, why can't them go for modular refinery? At least they can set up not more than, 5 modular refineries.
Right,
I think they are better than that going back and waste the Nigerian money.
Resources. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yes, over to you now, Mr. Iyamu.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have enough time.
Okay.
We have just about 6 minutes to go, but
I
you
was
can
talking,
round up.
I don't know about and that was a question posed to me about the host community issues.
Let me quickly just recognize those from Zamfara State. They seem to be very much onto us this morning, and that's great to hear. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, host community issues in the current PIB bill. And I was saying that, there are several provisions in the bill that will cater for the host communities. And I dare say cater for them, quite well. So I started by saying that there's, in the bill, what is known as the Host Community Development Fund, which is a fund which is 2.5% of the OPEX of the company. That's the operational expenditure of the company. Now, that 2.5% of the operational expenses of the company is to be used for developmental issues or projects within the host community. And it is to be allocated in this manner, or distributed, I beg your pardon,
yes,
in this manner: 75% for capital projects, 20% as a reserve fund, and 5% for administrative purposes. Now that is a good one. So for a company to be given a license, and for the company to begin any kind of exploration activities, it needs to come up with this, meet this requirement. 2.5% must be set aside. Aside from that, that company must carry out, in conjunction with the key stakeholders of the community, what is known as a needs assessment. So they will go between the company and the stakeholders or key stakeholders of the company. They would have a sit down and agree on the projects that are going to be implemented within that host community, and there must be an agreement. Now, after they have both agreed and documented that agreement will now be taken to the regulatory authority, either the commission or the authority, and then they will now receive that document. And why that is so important, that document is submitted before the authority or the commission, is because the authority of commission is going to perform oversight function over the developmental activities of the company in that community. Okay. So that is just one way of ensuring that, look, it's not enough to just say we agree and then after a while they begin to default. So they have that structure put in place to ensure compliance.
Okay, very quickly, just the gas flaring commercialization, just in 30 seconds.
Okay, so
our time is up.
Yeah, so part of the position of this government is that gas flare, the federal government, in line with the Paris Club Accord and all of the different national treaties that have been signed, and of course in line with current international best practices, gas flare is being discouraged around the world, because that is money. What is being flared is money, can be converted to money, and that is what brought about the gas flare commercialization program of this administration, to convert that flared gas into money. Okay. So that flared gas is taken at different flare points and is taken to the market.
All right. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Iyamu.
I wish we had more time.
Yes,
There's so much.
The same case, but I'm sure next time we'll still have the same time so that you can continue.
Please. I look forward to that.
So thank you so much, Mr. Iyamu.
Pleasure is mine.
We've been speaking with the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Niger Delta Affairs, Mr. Edobor Iyamu. Thank you so much for making our program a success today.
Thank you so much, sir.
And thanks to the production crew, our news producers, Conrad Lava and Hassan Hussein, online editors, Timothy Bamitele, ICT Israel Cho Kaha, studio manager was Prince Afonia Ugweze. Our engineer was Hassan Usman, photographer, Grace Omale, cameras were handled by Folua Oloide and Chinedu Mmegwa. Our facilitator Oluwada Milola Oni. Our producer was Oledo Mbewe. Executive producer Sani Suleiman. Special appreciation to the Director General of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Dr. Mansour Liman. Don't forget to join us next week for another edition of Have Your Say. My name is Olayemi Daniel, saying stay safe, think right and do right.